Not like an organization that I have, but how I organize things. Maybe it should be called organizing. I don't know. I'm not even 30 seconds in and I'm already on a tangent. Hello, and welcome to Losing My Knit, Vlogmas 2024, aka 12 Days of Knitmas. It is day 6, and I'm going to talk about my organization. Sort of how I track things, how I record things. I've got this really cool trick that, so I have my monitor, up here, my laptop's down here, and I think I can record the video and then show you the screen, so you'll actually see my spreadsheets, which is I'm excited about. I can be a computer nerd. But before that, I'm going to show you the chaos that is this current room. So we moved back in August. Within the city, we moved, and I think I said in my intro episode, one of the reasons I was able to start doing this is because I have an office with a door. Previously I was working in a hallway, beautiful hallway, love the desk, built in, but now I have a closed door, work from home, I have this time in the morning. But one thing I haven't done is I haven't fully unpacked. So first I'm going to start with this photo, which 10 days before we moved, I thought that was all the yarn that I had. I believe I found 2 more small bags after that. But it was a lot more yarn than I thought. When you see yarn on your spreadsheet, on my spreadsheet, that doesn't translate into physical space. So I was a little shocked. What that photo also doesn't include is the rather large quantity I've bought since we moved. I hadn't planned on buying a lot. I know I talked about how I try not to buy, I try and start and go at the same time, but there are a couple of really good sales and 2 projects that came up that I really do want to do in the next year or so. So I bought yarn. I will switch to this next photo, which is the closet. So I have a closet kind of right here, beside my desk, parallel to my desk. That's how I remember it. Parallel is this way, perpendicular is this way. And I can't do it without doing the motions. It's a small closet. When we were looking at the house, our realtor measured all the closets, and a normal size hanger will not fit in it, depth-wise. New England, we're used to it, but it is the smallest closet in the house, narrow-wise. But this photo, as you can see, I put a lot of stuff in there. It looks like a lot more than it is, because the bags are not. They're just kind of shoved in there for now. And it's not all yarn. To the far left, that side is not filled. There's actually a big box of photos that I'm eventually going to want to scan in from growing up from my mom's side of the family. And the right side, that's not packed, they're bins. And they're divided and labeled. So like my partner has a whole bin just for his yarns that for me to make stuff. Fingering, DK, like I do split them up, and they're labeled. That sheet bag, if you can see it, sort of right in the middle of the photo white, that entire bag is filled with the yarn from Scandinavia. I will talk about it on the travel one, but that's how much I bought. But yeah, so this will eventually be much neater. I'm hoping to put shelves up either side. One, so that, because it's pretty deep, those bins are about this wide, and as you can see, they just kind of, I'm going to point at the screen, right here, they tuck all the way in outside of the doorway. But I need to put a couple of shelves in so I don't have to take them all out to get the ones on the bottom. And so I'll put shelves along the sides and then at least one shelf across the top. Narrow shelves. So the rest of the room is also sort of chaotic with the exception of what you see right behind me. I mean, this shelf is not exactly neat, but I will eventually, as I shift things around, that will be cleaned up. This next photo is the current state of the left half of my desk. The right half isn't much better, but that's like work-related stuff, with the exception of one massive yarn ball. I'll put it over there now. This is stuff that I've either recently bought or that I've shown you all in the last few episodes, and it's stuff that I know needs to go into the yarn, either the closet or into bags for upcoming use. The last photo I'm going to show is not actually all yarn. The only yarn part is what you see on the top, so this is the photo. The top left, kind of by the luggage rack, but that shelf has both my nonfiction books and my knitting books, and you can see my winder's on there because I need to put it back in its own storage tub. That will eventually, some of my yarn will go there, some of my yarn will go on the shelf that you can kind of just see in the corner, bottom left corner. And so that'll be, I just need to organize it. That is definitely one of my plans for between when we're back from Christmas and when I log back on for work in the new year, is to just take everything out, take it down, figure out the shelving system I want to use, get the yarn just in there. Because I know what I have. I know what I have. You're going to see it in just one second. I just don't, it's not very well physically organized right now, but I'm going to do it. That's my goal in the next month or 5 weeks, I think, because we go pretty deep into the New Year's. So if this next bit works, you should see a spreadsheet, or actually you'll see Ravelry. I'll start with Ravelry. You should see Ravelry like here, and then I'm going to be over here in a little box, and I'll just talk you through sort of what I've been doing. So let's just try, I believe it's this one. I think this worked. If not, I will be very mad and I will have to re-record, but it looks like it's working. So what you see, hopefully you're familiar with this, hopefully it doesn't cause any issues. I'll put a warning. But this is my Ravelry. You can see that it's relatively up to date. I do need to go back and add some photos, but I left a couple of them off specifically because I want to show you my conditional formatting, which I'm most excited about. Yeah, so that's my Ravelry. I am in the process of, I think I got most of last year updated, and now I'm moving on to this year. You can see some of my more recent finished projects. Some I just don't. The problem is when I gift knit, I knit, I block, I give it away, I forget to take photos. So like this is mid construction. Where's another gift knit? This one was a gift. Don't have a photo of it on anyone. It's the softest thing on the planet. It's that Arrowverse cowl. Yeah, so so that's my Ravelry. I'm working on it. The way I organize is I use Google Docs. I use both documents, which is kind of like Word or Pages, and then I use Sheets, which is like Excel or Numbers. And I just, I dump it all in here. One of the reasons I love to use the Google Docs is because I can access it from my computer or my iPad, my phone. Doesn't matter. You can also have an offline mode where, like, if you're not online, it'll download some of them. So that's why I use it. And it's easy to use. I have a lot in here that's not fiber related, but this is my fiber folder. I call it fiber arts. One day I might expand past knitting and crochet. You never know. So, I will start with my stash tracker. So this is my stash tracker. I track by weight, brand, so who made the yarn, what the line is, the name, so that actually should say colorway, how many skeins I have, where I got it from, the date I purchased it, and then if I have an intended project. As you can see, if it's green, it's stash. If it is not green, I have an intended project for it. As you can see, a lot of it I have intended projects for. Right here it starts to get green because I did 2 monthly yarn clubs. I do have a project for them now. I'm going to make a massive blanket. That's what this is. I haven't figured out, both of them were literary. I haven't figured out specifically which pattern I'm going to make because they're very, very variegated. So I'm going to just make this the biggest blanket I can. DK, both of them were DK. I kind of wanted to do a hexagon because there's 12 in the one, and if I do 12 like right angle triangles and they measure the same, they should be a hexagon. I don't know, we'll see. If not, maybe I'll do squares or something, tie them all together. Yeah, so this is my stash. I don't know how many, let's go see how many skeins I have. Circular. Can't do a circular reference. So I have 234 skeins. I don't know if I would have guessed that high, but I do. Like I said, one of the things I'm most proud of, or one of the things that I love is conditional formatting. So say this wasn't for the Fluffissimo, say it was just stash. When I type stash in, it turns green. And I've got a couple more I'll show you in just a second. But this is how I track it. For a while I didn't track when I used it, so I just deleted it. It transferred over to the project one, but I realized I did want to track it because sometimes I have leftovers or I'm curious about a color, and so I just thought it would be really good to know. So I actually added a second tab, and this is all the yarn that I've used since I started tracking on here. I've used a lot. I don't think I've used as much, or I definitely haven't used as much as I've brought in. I've used 98 skeins, so that's not bad. So I wanted to keep a record of it. It was for me, for the future. So that's my stash tracker. As I said, this translating into physical space was a little bit of a shock. The boxes it was a surprise. Yeah, so I just recently put in my needles in here. I bought a 5-inch kit a while ago. I've slowly been buying the 4-inch chalgoos. I like the 4 for most of my projects, but when I do like garments or blankets, I do use the 5s. Yeah, and this also tracks the cables. I might eventually add in what project they're in, but I don't have that many projects going, so probably not necessarily something I need to do. And then I'm going to add the fixed needles to this one. So the way I track things and the way it interacts with the way I should interact with Ravelry. This is just my basic spreadsheet. This is the pattern name, who authored it, who I made it for. You can see quite a few gift knits in here this year. What yarn I used. The needles. So this is not the needles. These are the needles I used, not the needles in the pattern. What size I made. Cast on date. Cast off date. Finish date. I consider the finish date when ends are woven in and it's washed and blocked, if I'm gonna wash and block it. Whether I put it on Ravelry, and notes. So these are note modifications that I make. Don't ever do this again, those type of notes. This one has a little bit more conditional formatting. So I will actually zoom in. So hopefully you can see what happens. So this one here. So if I delete this date, gets rid of that. So basically what it does is if I put a date in here, oh, nope. If I put a date in here, this tells me, okay, I've started a project, I now need to finish it. If I put a date in here, we'll just put today's date. I'm recording this a little early. Finish both. What will then happen is it says, hey, you finished it. Make sure you put it on Ravelry. And that has helped. So when I did that in the 2023 projects here, I realized I had not put almost any of them on Ravelry. So I've got 3 more that I need to put on there, and then I'll be done with last year. I'm debating if I'm going to put these 2 on. I probably will. Oh, you can't actually see the pattern name. Those are the Oslo hats. I made one for me and one for my partner. And I'm gonna frog mine. I will probably put a note in that I frogged it, and so that's just one of the things I have to think about. I also recently added this tentative project. This is a little bit duplicate work because I also track it on my stash tracker. But the reason I added this one is because I've been trailing, I think, these two for a while. And I just kept moving them from like, I think 2022 to 23, 23 to 24. And some have assigned yarn. So like right here, the Slipstravaganza, this is the yarn that we bought when we were in Canada, or that I bought when we were in Canada. So I know what I'm going to make with it. I don't know what Main Street is, but we'll just delete that. This is the yarn. Yeah, so it is doing some double duty, but I just got tired of moving it from year to year. So I can store these here, and then when I'm ready to start, I will go grab this, drop it into next year's project. Yeah, so that is my organization style. Let me know if you have any questions. I think I like it. It's easy. Like I said, it's accessible from every device that I have. I'm going to swap back to full screen. Yeah, so give me just 1 second. So if that worked, you will have just seen my organization. At one point, you've seen this notebook once before. Let me grab it. I at one point started to track things in a written notebook. I've seen some people with beautiful yarn journals, but I'm not good at it. I don't know, I love the feel of paper and pen, and I think I'm going to start writing in a journal again soon. But I just wasn't able to make myself do it when like I'm on a computer every day. It's connected to every device I have. So I did make that shift to sheets, and I've done much better for the last 3 years of tracking what I'm doing, how I'm modifying it, when I'm doing it, when I'm finishing it, and now it's just getting it from there into Ravelry as sort of one of my next big goals. So that is my organization. How do you organize? I know some people I know are Excel people, and they track similar. I've seen some on Instagram where they track the yardage in and out. Don't care about that, not interested. But kudos to you all. That is awesome. I think it's the measuring piece, like, oh, well, how much do I have left? I don't care quite that much. That being said, one of those bags in that closet is just full of scraps, so maybe I should. But yeah, so how do you track? How do you keep track of things? Are you good at updating Ravelry? I am when I do it, and I generally do it in bulk. Not good at doing it day to day, but let me know in the comments how you track your stash, your projects. Do you use Ravelry? Can you not use Ravelry? Yeah, so that's me casting off for now. I will hopefully see you in a couple days.